We are quite used to speaking of Jesus associating himself with unsavory characters. He had a reputation for preferring the company of prostitutes and tax collectors to that of priests or Bible scholars. He surrounded himself with a group of vagabonds rather than with respectable businessmen or academics of his time. What is surprising, though, is the fact that this curious preference did not start in Jesus' adult life. It can be seen from the very beginning. In the birth narratives given us by Luke and Matthew. In the Gospel passage for this Sunday, we hear that the very first visitors Jesus ever had while still laying in the manger were the shepherds. Now we tend to romanticize them in our Christmas stories. But being a sheep shepherd was not something that every Jewish mother dreamed for her son. Shepherds were low-skilled, underpaid, and uneducated laborers who smelled bad and were not particularly religious. Then, in just a few days, we will all listen to St. Matthew's story of the wise men coming from the east to visit the newborn king. Here, too, it escapes us what a radical concept it is for a practicing Jewish family to entertain such questionable characters like magi or seers. The Bible clearly condemns anyone who dabbles in astrology, and these strange visitors would be avoided like a fire by any pious Jew, since the so-called wisdom they practiced was judged to be an abomination by the religious authorities of the day. The simplicity of the manger, the company of the shepherds, and even the visit from the Magi tell us that Christ chose to be born in socially insignificant location and class. It all points to the incarnation taking place on the social, religious, and economic margins, not in royal courts or centers of power. From the very beginning of his life, Jesus chooses and, moreover, prefers the company of unsavory characters. The center of the incarnation, the center of God's self-revealing action, is found on the margins of empire, society, and on the margins of established religion. This is where the church must be centered. This, my friend, is where we must be centered as well. Amen, and many blessings for a happy new year.